Today, we're diving into one of literature's most powerful and, frankly, scariest ideas, the search for a perfect world. And, more importantly, we're going to look at all the terrifying ways that search can go completely wrong. This is the journey from the dream of utopia to the nightmare of dystopia.
So let me just ask you something to get started. Have you ever, just sat back and tried to imagine what a truly perfect world would look like? If you have, hey, you're in good company. This is one of humanity's oldest, most persistent dreams. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato imagined a republic run by philosopher kings. So many religions promise some kind of blissful paradise. It's a deep, universal desire.
Now, this dream of perfection actually has a name. So let's explore where it came from and what it really meant from the very beginning. Okay, so the term itself, it was coined by Sir Thomas More way back in 1516. And this is where it gets really interesting. Utopia literally translates from the original Greek as no place. So right from its creation, the name itself was a kind of a wink, a little hint that this perfect society might be a complete impossibility. For centuries, progress in science and politics gave people a lot of hope that maybe this no place could actually become a real place. But that hope, well, it often led somewhere much, much darker. This is where the nightmare really begins to unfold. You see it throughout history. The intense pursuit of paradise on Earth, time and time again, just collapsed into its total opposite. And as writers and artists began to seriously question this whole utopian idea, they ended up creating a powerful new genre to explore exactly where we went wrong.
And right here, you can really see the two sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got utopia, the no place, the perfect ideal. And on the other, its dark reflection, dystopia, the not good place. A world of incredible suffering that's often, ironically, born from that very same search for perfection.
So how did this whole new genre start to take shape? Well, these stories have always been like a mirror, reflecting the biggest fears and anxieties of their time. Let's take a look at how that reflection has changed over the centuries.
A really early example is Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. It helped create the blueprint for the whole genre. And the method is pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You take a trend you see in your own society, you push it to its most logical and terrifying extreme, and by doing that, you reveal the hidden dangers inside it.
The centuries that followed, well, they gave authors plenty to write about. The Industrial Revolution sparked these fears of extreme class division, which inspired people like H.G. Wells. Then, the 20th century brought these terrifying new tools of government control, leading to two of the absolute titans of the genre, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and, of course, George Orwell's 1984.
Let's just take a closer look at Huxley's vision for a second. His Brave New World achieves perfect, unshakable stability, but wow, the cost is staggering. People are literally genetically engineered for specific jobs, they're conditioned with nonstop propaganda, and they're medicated into a state of blissful ignorance. A perfect world is created, but only by sacrificing the very thing that makes us human, our individuality and our free will.
And this is where the story takes its darkest, most chilling turn. Because for so many writers in the 20th century, dystopia wasn't something they had to imagine. They saw it rising up all around them, in the real world.
These authors didn't just observe the horrors of totalitarianism, they lived them. Yevgeny Zamyatin witnessed the absolute crushing of individuality in the Soviet Union. George Orwell fought against fascism on the front lines in Spain. Sinclair Lewis was desperately trying to warn people that yes, it absolutely can happen here. Their experiences weren't just inspiration, they were a terrifying, urgent reality that they burned onto the page.
So what happened after World War II? Did the whole genre just fade away? No way. Not at all. It just evolved to tackle a whole new set of modern anxieties. After the war, dystopian themes just exploded beyond books. They found this whole new life in film, in comics, and eventually in these incredibly immersive video games. From cyborgs questioning their humanity to teenagers fighting in televised death matches, the genre just kept finding new ways to warn us about where we might be heading. And, well, that brings us to today, where this genre is maybe more relevant than it's ever been. Just look at the headlines. Stories about climate collapse, the surveillance state, runaway AI, massive inequality. These aren't just news stories anymore. They are the raw material for the dystopian stories being written and filmed right now. So why? Why do we keep coming back to these dark, depressing stories? What is their ultimate purpose? Well, the answer is that they act as a mirror to ourselves.
And this is really the core takeaway. Dystopias aren't predictions of the future. They're not prophecies. They are warnings. They caution us against any idea, any government, or any technology that promises it can mold humanity into some kind of perfect shape, because that process is almost always violent and deeply dehumanizing.
So let's circle all the way back to where we started, to that perfect world that you imagined. Think about it again for just a second. But this time, I want you to think about what it would actually take to create it, and then to maintain it. And I mean seriously, how would you get everyone to agree, to follow all the rules? What would you do with the people who just refuse to cooperate with your perfect plan?
And once you've built it, how do you protect it? How do you make absolutely sure that no one ever messes it up for all the generations to come? What systems of control would you have to put in place forever?
Now, with all that in mind, take one last look at that utopia you imagined at the beginning. Does it still seem so perfect? That's the question dystopia always leaves us with. It's a warning that just echoes through time.